We're going to spend a few minutes talking about careers in agriculture. One thing that you can, just a few things that we need to know about and talk about as we go through it. One thing I always talk to every class about, want to make sure that we spend some time talking about, is the fact that I know not everybody's going to go into a career in ag. It's their number one employer in the state of Georgia. However, everybody in a class is a consumer. And there's opportunities out there that you may never have thought that was agriculture opportunities. That might be an opportunity that you ought to, look into and investigate. When we talk about agriculture in general, agriculture as an industry, farming is only a small part of it. You think about it, it's less than 2% of agriculture is actually composed of production agriculture, which is producing the food, and that's just a small portion. Now, the one thing I always like to think about and talk about is think about how many people it takes to distribute the food once we've got it. We've got to have somebody to grow the food. Obviously, we've got farmers, but there's service industries, processing, packaging, and tons of opportunities that tie into the ag industry. And when you're thinking about careers, I encourage you to look outside of just the small little window of production ag. Obviously there's people that go into production ag every day, and we have people that I've had in class, good students that have went on, and they are in production ag, but there's plenty of other opportunities. Some of those include services. For every production oriented opportunity out there, there's got to be a service for that. Crop spraying, if you're in production agriculture, if you're in animal science and you've got cattle, goats, sheep, hogs, you've got to have a vet out there and a ton of workers. Then they've got pharmaceuticals, so there's a lot more goes into it than just that production. You've got every one of them has to have a service industry, and every one of them has to have a packaging and a distribution. So there's truck drivers, there's people that are service those vehicles, there's tire folks, there's motor, there's mechanics, there's plenty of opportunity out there. And then you look in the process, and we're blessed around here. We've got a couple of processing plants. Used to have one in Dalton for Pilgrim's Pride with the chicken industry and the poultry industry. But as we move forward, just continue to think about, there's for every crop produced, there's somebody that's got to make that go from the field to the table for you or wherever. And then their marketing, and I think there's a huge opportunity in our community for people to move into the marketing industry. They promote, and they're helping other people understand what agriculture is. And for every commodity, there's a group out there that promotes that commodity. And then you've got buyers, you've got customer relations, you've got digital opportunities. We're in the goat business, and there's a lot of people that make money just on marketing. There's the Pig Planet does an excellent job marketing services for the pork industry, and every industry has to have that. And then the last one you see there is the sales industry. And you think about that, we were fortunate to have the ag sales team winning team in the nation state last year. If you look right behind me, right there, that's what they won. And it's really cool to get to go out into the field and try to sell products to customers. And man, there's huge time potential for people in our school to go out and become sales reps for ag commodities and make really, really good livings for themselves. Again, agriculture in general, just we've lost sight a little bit of how important it is. I think we had a governor candidate a couple years ago even say, well, why do we need agriculture? We buy our food in the supermarket. And if you look, the ag industry accounts for one eighth of the U.S. gross domestic product. 1/8 of all receipts in our nation is ag receipts. 1.26 trillion in 2000. Of course, that number grew substantially since then. And 1/6 of civilian workforce, 1/6 of the nation, one out of every 6 people in our country works in the ag industry. Let that sink in. Classroom normally going to have 30 people in it on average in a normal situation. 5 of those 30 are going to go into agriculture. 2.2 million farms in 2007, 922 million acres, an average of 418 acres per farm. You know, there's something to say, and something makes me proud about a family farm. And you look and you think about it, 2.2 million farms in the nation, 922 million acres. The U.S. farmer produces about $100 billion worth of crops every year, and there's another $100 billion worth of livestock produced each year. Incredible. Incredible the amount of stuff and the amount of product that's moved throughout our farms each year. A huge industry. So, what are the 8 major areas? Production, agriculture, ag mechanics, sales and services, processing, forestry, horticulture, rural recreation and natural resources, and then the ag marketing and business. Looking at production agriculture first, and this is what we normally think of when we think of farming. Producing or raising crops is actually what production agriculture is. Some of the things that we raise are field crops. Around here in North Georgia, we have some corn, soybeans. If you go down to Gordon County, you got some cotton. We got sunflowers being produced. We got canola being produced. So there's several crops being raised in our general area. And in northern Whitfield County, we have several large farms producing corn and soybeans and things like that. Fruits and vegetables, as you should know, LJ is your apple capital of the world. And you think about us as a state, the amount of fruit we produce and the amount of vegetables. South Georgia, a ton of vegetables come out of our southern 1/3 of our state: peaches, pecans, and many, many others. Then the livestock, horses, and of course the poultry industry. We're the number one nation. We're the number one state in the nation in poultry. We are. If you go to Gainesville, Georgia, that's the poultry capital of the world. So when you stop and you think about that, we've got a ton. You ride down the road, you're gonna see lots and lots of cow calf operations. Now many of those are hobby farms, but there's still a huge number of those in the county. Horses, a multi-billion-dollar industry. Um, we're fortunate to have many, many, many large horse farms in our area. Fish, one that we probably don't think about a whole lot. We might take that for granted. And you think about all the commercial fishing that goes on in our state, and in terms of farm raised fish in our state, we're an excellent producer. And then turf grass, several large turf grass farms around here. I really wish we could go visit those. It's a pretty cool deal. But you think about a multi-billion-dollar industry there, $1 million industry producing turf grass in our area. Ag mechanics is one that sometimes I feel like we may forget about. Um, it's probably, in my opinion, right now, if I was 17 years old again and looking to make money and really make an impact and have a job and be an entrepreneur and work for myself, I would look into ag mechanics. You think about Whitfield County, we're carpet capital. However, for each one of those carpet mills, they have to have somebody to come in and do this, and the money there is incredible. Machinery maintenance, most of those people have maintenance men. Most companies have maintenance men, but they also have specialty maintenance people that come around. Welding, 6 figures. That's $100,000 job, depending on what you want to do. I I really think more and more we're gonna see people leaving the 4-year degrees and heading into some of these certificate programs of welding and making incredible amounts of money for them and their family. The electrical work side of things, when you stop and you think about it, every person's got to have an electrician. And you think about most homeowners can't do their own electrical work. That ties in with kind of heating and air to me. Tons and tons of money there. Not real labor intensive, but a job that pays incredible money. Plumbing, you stop and you think about plumbers. Sounds like a non-glorious career. However, when you break it down, plumbers make excellent money. And again, most average person can't do that. So there's a ton of money there. And then construction and planning. The days of woodworking in the shop with mom and pop are over, and you're starting to see less and less people be able to do that. So just huge amount of money right here. Probably to me, one of the most evolving pieces in the industry is looking into ag mechanics. One of my favorites is sales and services. I had a thought this morning as I got ready to get up and come to work. Man, there's days I love to just be a feed rep. be able to go around the farms and sell people feed and be able to promote the industry. Um, we think a lot of times about sales as just our feed and equipment dealers. We've obviously got a lot of feed stores in Winfield County, some great business owners that support ag education out there. And I'd failed to name, I missed one of them if I named them all, but there's a ton of that equipment dealers. We've got Ag Pro here. We've got several mower dealers in our county. Mr. Bailey owns the Cub Cadet place over here. He's a Southeast graduate and hopefully a major one supposed to be coming down here on the bypass anytime. We don't really have crop dusters around here. They have them more up north and South Georgia. Custom harvesters. I know when I was in college, that was a big thing. They would hire you to pick the cotton on the weekends, and a lot of students would leave school and go do it. And then, of course, the vet industries down there. And, we're blessed with several major vet clinics around here. It seems like everybody's got a dog, and it's just like the doctor. You can't do it yourself. So, there's money there, and that's an ag career that sometimes, for some whatever reason, we don't even think about it being an ag career. Processing involves distributing the food. That includes all your truck drivers, meat packers, butchers, plant managers. I That was my dream coming out of college. I wanted to own a butcher shop. Don't know why. I had envisions of a slaughterhouse mixed with like a chop shop or something like that with a storefront. Unfortunately, that never came to. I guess fortunately, because I get to be your ag teacher, so I'm proud about that. But when you stop and you think about food and dairy workers and meat packers and all that, this is the part that people forget about. Oh, the cow milk, they milk the cow and it comes right to me. No, there's a lot of parts and pieces in the processing industry. And you think about truck drivers, guys, I know that sometimes we look down on truck drivers. That's a awesome career, a career that never shuts down, that's going to always have jobs, and you're going to make good money. I really think many people ought to look into that. And then for each one of these, obviously, there's managers, and this is a huge chain. The forestry industry is one in southern Georgia is dominated. That in South Georgia, pretty much you work somehow related to the forestry industry, especially in southeastern Georgia. But you got people, forest managers that advise people, and there are plenty up here too. The Georgia Forestry Commission. We got reforestation folks that replant the trees. We got logging crews. We've got several of those in Northwest Georgia. And then we've got a new kind of thing with the remote mapping and GPSs. Um, there's a ton of careers there, and with technology developing and as good as y'all are with technology, there's plenty of money to be made there. Horticulture is one of the major impact in our area. Uh, think about the number of landscaping crews in our area. There's some major companies making millions of dollars in our area. You've got landscapers, obviously the mowing crews, landscaping crews. We've got nurseries that are producing it for them. Turf grass. We've got some huge sod farms in our area. We got several great florists in our community. Our community is loaded with horticulture opportunities and careers if that interests you. One that may interest a lot of y'all, my first dream job, I guess you could say, was a game warden. I want to be a game warden so bad. My dad just didn't want me to do that for whatever reason. But for y'all that love the outdoors, love hunting and fishing, obviously being a game warden's a dream job for many. I challenge you to chase those dreams. Those are jobs that I think every one of us would enjoy. Park rangers, it's kind of the same deal. And soil and water conservation, NRCS, National Resource Conservation Services, awesome opportunities. Guys, they always say if you find a job you like, you'll never work a day in your life. Well, here's an opportunity for y'all that love the life of being outdoors and hunting and fishing to live that dream. Another part that I love is the business part of it. Ag marketing and business management. Every one of these commodities have to have people out there brokering them. And there's loan officers out there that are just giving out ag loans. There's trading companies out there. Man, there's customer development. This is an area I think there's a lot of room for growth. I think there's somebody that's good at math. This is an area they could look into and probably challenge that $70,000 to $100,000 mark and get to do what they love. What we're going to do with this, we're actually going to be doing a project with this, and as we move through, I'm going to go ahead and pull that project up here on our Google Classroom page. If you'll give me just a second. So as you go, we're going to go into, it'll be in every class, but we're going to look in here in horticulture. And we're going to do this in every class, the same little project. Sorry about that. So if you look here, this is a project we're going to be doing, and this is actually probably going to end up being more like a 2-week deal. But you're going to have parts due by the end of this week. One thing I'd like to point out is you're going to choose an ag career, obviously one that we talked about. You will find the information on the career and you're going to present it. You can do that many ways. A PowerPoint, that'll get you through. But I would love to see some creativity. Y'all are way, way good with computers. So, some things that you're going to do here, you're going to look up a job title. You're going to need to look in the areas of agriculture, the job description, education, and schools that offer training and a salary. And as you do this, keep in mind you're going to present. So you're going to have a week to get through Friday to get these done, and then after that you will have a week to present. We'll get it together and present it. You're going to have to look up 3 SAEs that relate back to the project. I think that's a really, really neat way to have y'all to go ahead and think about SAEs that involve the career that you're in or looking into. What commodities do you deal with? What is it that what's the annual value, what commodities, whether it be trees, whether it be wildlife, whether it be cotton or peanuts or whatever. Three inventions that career has or used, how are they used and who invented them. Looking at the leadership side of it, what skills are needed to be involved with this career. And then the last thing there under FFA is a contest that's related to that area. I want you to look up on FFA.org and find a contest that relates into your SAE. You've talked about the total program, and to me, this gives you an awesome opportunity to tie it all together. If you have any questions, feel free to email me and ask. One thing I would say is virtual students, you will be presenting virtually. So you will have to present virtually once you have got this done. In-person learners, you'll be presenting in class the next time after this is due that you see me. Please remember, PowerPoint to get you a grade. Let's try to be more creative than that. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. I look forward to seeing what we come up with. And guys, don't forget about ag careers. Just because we're in the carpet capital don't mean that there's not careers out there that will pay you crazy good money that are related to agriculture.